Hey there, it's Poul Mark with the Transcend Video podcast. Coming back to you with a new episode. It's been a few weeks or maybe even a month since our last one, so we figured it was about time. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you today about some of the issues that face us, and not only us, but the other players involved in the chain of sourcing coffee. And just so that you're aware and come to understand with a bit more clarity the difficulties and the challenges and the variables that are all at play in terms of getting coffee from where it grows in producing countries to the roastery here in Edmonton, and then ultimately into your hands and into your brewers. We have been wrestling here for the last couple of months, in all honesty, with a lack of coffee. You might say that our coffee pantry is empty. If you came to the roastery and you look back where we store all of our green coffee, you would notice that it is very sparse indeed. And if you're a customer of ours, either here locally in Edmonton or even online, you'll notice that for the last couple of months, our offerings have been pretty repetitive, and we're all looking forward with anticipation to fresh crop coffees coming in our door so that we can get them through our roaster and into your hands. Having said that, we're expecting some fresh crop Costas arriving at our doorstep tomorrow, so that's an exciting thing. And hopefully some fresh crop Guatemala here at the end of the month. Speaking of Guatemala, one of the things that I think Guatemala illustrates for me this year a really good example of one of the real challenges that we face in terms of getting coffee. We buy coffee from Edwin Martinez, and he and his family grow coffee and have grown coffee in the Huehuetenango region in Guatemala, about an 8-hour drive outside of Guatemala City for a long time. And we've booked about 100 bags of coffee from Edwin and are anxiously awaiting the arrival of Finca Vista Hermosa. But this year, what happened just about the time when we were hoping to see the coffee get moved off the farm down to Guatemala City and then ultimately onto a boat and shipping over to North America, Guatemala got hit with a volcano. The volcano erupted, spewing ash all over the place. Then there was sinkholes happening, and then right after that there was tropical storm, which basically ravaged that country and put it into a state of emergency. So there is a great example of problems that have completely delayed us getting coffee for the last 2 months, and none of which are in our control or in the control of the grower or in control of the shipper or an exporter. All those things are outside of our control, and yet they have a dramatic impact on our ability to, number one, have a constant supply of coffee, and number two, it has a dramatic impact on our ability to get coffee that is fresh crop and ready to roast in a timely fashion. And it's one of the real struggles that we have, in all honesty, in this business, is we spend a lot of time traveling. Chad just left for Brazil today. He's off to Brazil. He's going to be spending 2 weeks there, traveling, meeting farmers, looking for some of the best coffee that we can find in Brazil. And that's the first step. The first step is that trip, sourcing coffee, tasting it. Then we make a final determination once we get some sort of pre-shipped samples. And then the coffee has to actually get delivered from where it grows to North America, where it then sits in a warehouse, and then we pull it as we need it from there, and it gets trucked up to us in Edmonton. But when we're talking about getting coffee from Africa or South America or Central America, all of these countries and all these regions take a tremendous amount of effort and time, both on the part of the farmer of getting that coffee harvested and then down the mountain, whether that be through on a truck, through treacherous roads, or on a mule, or even sometimes on their own backs. That coffee gets taken down off the mountain into a mill where it's further processed, and then that miller will have that coffee sent out to a port where it ultimately ends up on a ship. We're not big enough right now to be filling whole containers. A container of coffee usually holds about 300 sacks, or about 37,000 pounds of coffee. We don't buy that much from any one place, and so we're all often waiting for our coffee to get consolidated with some other coffee, which adds to delays as well. So it's one of the things that really we struggle with. And it just highlights the amazing complexity that exists in the world of specialty coffee. Coffee is an agricultural product. It is affected on an annual basis by rainfall, by wind, by bad weather, by good weather. All of these things contribute to an amazing crop, and as a result of an amazing crop, an amazing cup of coffee. And yet all of these things are also influenced by the transportation and the logistics side of things, where amazing coffee can actually become absolutely unpalatable and undrinkable in the process of getting transported. If that coffee ends up on a dock somewhere and doesn't get shipped in a timely fashion, it could sit and bake on a dock in 40-degree, 50-degree weather inside of a container, 110% humidity, and actually get totally destroyed. So it's one of the things that we're working more and more with importers to find ways to ship coffee in a very timely manner, to also ship coffee that is packaged at origin in either vacuum pack bags or Grain Pro bags, which are plastic sealed bags which protect the coffee as it travels, so it's not being impacted by other containers of, let's say, chemicals or something else being placed beside it on a ship, which we have no control of either. So it's one of these things I wanted to talk a little bit about today with you. Not that it's not that it's exciting necessarily or a sexy conversation, but it's something that is always on our mind. We're always thinking, and we're always struggling, and we're always wrestling with how can we get the coffee here faster? When is the coffee arriving? Where is it coming from next? And it's a constant problem, and I want you, the consumer, to understand that it's not just a matter of us phoning up somebody either locally or even in the United States and saying, oh, hey, by the way, we're short on coffee, could you send some more? We are sourcing coffee directly from farmers, and we're trying to anticipate the needs that we will have. We're trying to anticipate the volume of coffee we should be buying from any one producer. And we make a decision early in the year, and that coffee again gets shipped, but when it's gone, it's gone. There's no recourse for us to go, oh, by the way, we need more. That season is over, and we then must wait for the following year, where we can then make an adjustment to the amount of coffee that we decide we want to buy from that farmer. So I think I'll wrap it up there. Just want you to understand the sort of the variability, the fragility of the coffee chain. And I also want you to understand the tremendous amount of effort and work that goes into producing an amazing cup of coffee that you so enjoy and drink every morning. There are so many hands at work. There are so many people exerting a tremendous amount of energy and money and time to get that green bean from where it grows to us, where we can roast it and ultimately get it into your cup. So think about that as you consume your coffee. Think about all the hard work, all the labor, all the passion, all the love that goes into every cup of coffee that you drink, especially if it comes from Transcend Coffee. So until next time, drink less, more often. Cheers.